everyone, welcome back to Bloom and Create. I got my waiting for my letter at Hogwarts mug ready with some hot cocoa, and we are going to do a little bit of a drawing. So I made a still life display about plants. So I'm just gonna, draw it, and I'll show you what it looks like in a sec. But I'm just gonna kind of walk you through like what I'm doing and how I'm making this composition, and maybe a little bit of life advice in between. So we we'll get started. Oh, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have a little emblem on the side of the screen, and it might change. I just found this on the internet. It's like little leaves coming from a paintbrush. I thought it was kind of cool because, bloom and create plants and art. So I might make my own, but that's probably gonna be later. So just found this on the internet. This is the icon for now. So yeah. Sip to go. And so yeah. So this is the composition that I'm going to do. And yeah. So what I really like about this composition that I made is that there's a lot of different texture and variety. So we have the texture of this pot with the waffle, I guess, waffle pattern, and then the smooth pot here, and then we got the texture of, oh, you can't see it, the texture of the dirt spilling out, and then we have different shapes. So though we got a lot of pots that are similar shape, we do have a square rectangular one, and then we also have the imprints in the leaves of the mini monstera, and the very long and skinny leaves of the pink princess. Love her. She's not very pink. I keep trying to give her more sun. I gave her a grow light. I don't know why she's more pink, but the stem on the bottom is a little bit bent, so that's why it's kind of difficult to position her like how I want. But yeah, I thought the butterfly would be kind of a cute thing to add. So what's really nice about this concept as well is there is a good amount of used and empty space. So you don't want your still life to be too crowded, because then it's really busy and not really appealing to the eye. So it's good to have some negative space. However, you might hear a lot to not have too much negative space as well, because if you have too much negative space, then there's typically not a lot of like eye-catching pieces in for the viewer to like get interested in, but also it can seem very empty and desolate. And that can make it feel like unfinished. So it's kind of something you have to play with to find out how much is too much and how much is too little. Um, so kind of finding the perfect balance between filled and empty space. So yeah, this is the composition that I'm just gonna draw, and I'll kind of walk you through like how I am drawing these components, and it should be fun. Um, I'll I don't really have like an overhead camera, so I'll kind of just draw a little bit and then like show you what I have so far and kind of just walk you through it. So I think the best way is to go landscape for this still life. And so what I like to do is kind of like map out the layout. So I'll kind of like make a little mark for the highest and lowest point of the composition. So I don't know if you like if I keep moving the computer around. So if you guys remember, the highest point is the butterfly. So I'm gonna kind of map out roughly how big the butterfly is going to be. And then the lowest point would be the dirt, the splattered dirt. And that I want to have like kind of like right here, because I do want to include the nice shadows around the objects. Shadows are really nice because it really helps to like make the objects really look 3D, even though they're not, they're 2D. So yeah, this is kind of what I have. Oh, you can't really see it. Anyways, so I have a point right here. This is my highest point. And then I have a point right here. This is my lowest point where the dirt's going to be. This is my even lower point where the shadow is going to end. So with that, now I can kind of, now that I know where my points are going to end, I can kind of start, filling it out. Maybe I'll have you guys just stay on the still life so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I think that would be best. Okay. So, move you back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so as we can see, the gray pot is pretty low compared to the butterfly. So using the lines that I marked for how big the butterfly is going to be, I want to make sure that I have the relative amount of space on my picture that is shown right here. So doing that now. So I feel like a midpoint would kind of be the top of the like a little bit above the top of the gray pot. So that will also help me determine how tall to make the gray pot on my paper. So it's also important to know that this isn't like a straight line, it's kind of curved. So I'm going to have to add that in my sketch. So this pot is like a little bit above halfway up the gray pot. So something you'll see when I show you is that I'm doing nice loose sketching. So kind of just making relative lines, just kind of trying to find out the spacing of where the line should be. And once I figure out which line that is, I erase the rest. And that kind of solidifies like this is where that should go. So I'm going to show you what I have so far. It's definitely not, the whole picture. Okay. So this is what I have so far. So this is the gray pot, and then this is the, what would you call that? It's this pot right here. But that's what that pot is right here. And, yeah. So the angle might look a little different for you guys than what it does for me. So it might look like my sketch is wrong and stuff, but that's what's really interesting and something you definitely should play around with your composition is angles, because where you are drawing it from can really impact how the composition looks, and angles can make it really interesting. So if you do like an angle where it's really low and you're like looking up at it, or really high and you're looking down at it, can really make a relatively boring composition really interesting because of the angle point. So something that's really good to do for still life compositions, or honestly any kind of drawing, is to make at least 3 thumbnail sketches. And if you don't know what thumbnail sketches are, that's where you make, it's really small. So just like a small, a really small picture of what you are looking at or what you want to draw. And you do like a really rough sketch of it. So it's like shapes more than like sketch and stuff. And it kind of just helps to lay out your ideas and kind of make a baseline for what you want to look like. And the purpose of making 3 of those is to figure out which one is the best and which one you like the most. So it can, because sometimes your first idea is not always the best. Sometimes it is, and that's great. You can go with it. You can execute the idea. But sometimes your third one or your second one is better and is more aesthetically pleasing, is more interesting to look at. And so when you make 3 of them, you can kind of it kind of forces you to play around with different angles, different layout of the objects, and figure out which one is better. So now that I have done the got like a good start on the two pots, I think I'm going to work on the green one now. So there's a little bit of space, which, yeah, you guys can't see. So, kind of show you what my angle looks like. So now, now you guys can see that there's a space right here. And so I want to take account that space and make sure that when I'm making the green pot, it's not too close to the gray one. And it also, the ending point is a little bit closer, closer to us, the viewer, than the gray one. So I'm also going to take note of that. Also, a good thing when you're drawing like circular or cylinder objects is to draw a circle for the bottom and the top. So when you do the bottom, you're going to erase like this part of the circle you don't see, but it helps to kind of find that baseline of how round is it, where's the side points of it, and kind of just help with that, figuring out the layout from person to paper. So this is a really wide pot. So I kind of have like an oval on my paper more than a circle. The gray or not the gray, the green pot is shorter than the gray one. So I also want to take note of that. So what I notice is, so for the gray pot, there's two different textures. There's smooth and like a waffle cone. And I noticed that the green pot is like right below that gray pot, or that right below that gray pot's smooth texture. So I kind of am contemplating and figuring out where that smooth spot would be in my sketch, so that I can kind of figure out where the green pot is going to, like how tall the green pot is going to be on my sketch. And feel free, guys, to like follow along with me. This might even be like a two-part series, because drawing takes time, and honestly that's like the whole fun of it. So this video might be like how to do the rough sketch, and then the next one could be like finalizing the sketch, or maybe doing like coloring and stuff, and we could like play around with like certain mediums and stuff, like maybe oil pastels, maybe color pencils, maybe maybe watercolor. I think that would be kind of fun, especially with this like composition. I see a lot of beautiful watercolor plant pictures on Pinterest. So that might be fun. Maybe maybe watercolor. I think that would be kind of fun. Especially with this like composition. I see a lot of beautiful watercolor plant pictures on Pinterest. So that might be fun. So what's really nice is as you do more of the sketch, you figure out more and more of the layout. And what I notice, okay. So what I notice is that is that my pot here is actually this is really hard. So this pot here is actually a little bit too tall on my sketch, and so we're not seeing as much of that waffle pattern on the gray pot. So I'm going to fix that now. Oh, and then here's the start of my green pot, so you can see that nice oval bottom. And then once I figure out where it ends on the top line, that's when I will do the oval on the top part. So it's coming along. I hope you guys are having fun if you're following along with me, or if you guys are just having it play in the background, that's great too. Let me know what you're doing. Like, leave a comment on this post. Like, what are you doing while you're listening to this video? Are you cleaning? Are you studying? What you doing? I would love to hear what you guys are doing. Maybe you're doing like a different craft, like maybe you're crocheting or painting a picture. How's life been going for you guys? You can leave a comment about that too. I know for me, I'm a little stressed out because I got a test for anatomy and physiology. It's our third exam, and it's about the digestive tract and metabolism, which the metabolism I'm not so worried about, because like I kind of went over some of the information that we learned in biology and microbiology, so it's still like fresh and learned and stuff. But the digestive tract, not saying that it's like hard, it's just a lot of information, and I feel like that's every unit for anatomy and physiology. It's just so much information thrown at you. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely a adjustment for sure. So a little stressed out about that test, hence why we're doing some drawing today. Kind of just woosah, relax in this present moment. Put our sorrows and our worries away, just so that we can relax in this moment right here and now. And yeah, not saying to like not worry or be sad or have feelings at all. All feelings are valid and should be expressed and felt and processed and all that good stuff. But sometimes the best way to handle extreme emotions is to just take a break and do something fun and calming, and kind of just let your mind drift and wander wherever it wants to go while you do a calming activity like drawing or coloring, maybe singing, or maybe gardening, if gardening's calming for you and stuff. I know gardening's calming for me at times. Kind of why I like that I'm doing a garden-esque excuse me, a garden-esque like still life. Kind of brings the two calming energies for me into just one activity. Yeah. Do you ever guys, or have you guys ever heard the phrase that you're overreacting? I hate, literally hate that phrase, because there's no such thing as overreacting. Like, some people are just more sensitive to certain emotions or situations than other people. And so to those people, the other one may seem overreacting. But all feelings are valid, and all like extreme and intense emotions are valid. So like the intensity of those emotions are still valid. And when people say that you're overreacting, it makes you very self-conscious, like, and kind of doubt yourself. Like, am I overreacting? Am I feeling too much? Like, and it's just horrible, because then you don't feel those emotions as much as you should, and then you're not able to process them as well and get through those tough emotions or enjoy happy moments to the fullest. I just hate the phrase overreacting, because there is no such thing. Feel the emotions as intensely as you want and need, and remember that all feelings are valid, and it does not matter what anybody else says, because only you know how, like, what is right for you, and you shouldn't let someone tell you that you're feeling too much or overreacting, because all people are different. All bodies are different. Some are physical and some are mental. Like, some bodies are skinny and some bodies are curvy, and that's okay. And some bodies are sensitive, and some bodies are hypersensitive, and some bodies are not sensitive at all. Some people, they just don't feel that much and stuff, and they get through things very quickly because their body's like over it within not that, like, they don't need to feel the emotion very much because it's at a lower intensity, and so they get through it faster, and that's okay. And some bodies, they feel it very intensely, and they have to process it for longer because it's so intense. And that's okay too. And that's how I am. I've always heard the phrase that I'm being dramatic or I'm overreacting, and mostly from my friends in the past who did not have my best interest at heart, and it really bugged me at first, but now I just own it. I know that what I'm feeling is okay, and it's intense and it's beautiful, and it's just who I am, and now it doesn't really bug me that much. I mean, some days, it'll bug me, but most of the time, it doesn't really bug me, and it's kind of like a weight off my shoulder, because it's like I got that power back. Like, when they say that, they don't take that power away from me anymore. I still have it. I have the power to believe them or not, to care and care or not, or to change who I am or not, which you should never change yourself for anybody. I mean, if it's constructive feedback, and or like someone's laying down a boundary, that's different. Take it into consideration and try to change. But when it is just stuff like you're overreacting, like, just blow them off. Just be like, okay, that's your opinion, but I'm not going to change who I am, because this is who I am, and it's beautiful, and this is me, and I'm just going to do me. It's a beautiful thing, and I feel like more people should accept and not try to change people, because it's beautiful being different. And you know, if we lived in a world that where we were all the same, it would be so boring, you know? Like, everybody's the same, and there's no variety, there's no, like, I feel like that would be so boring. So if you are unique and you are different and you feel like you don't fit in, I know it's hard, but you gotta celebrate that. You gotta be like, hey, this is a gift to be different, because I am unique. I am one of a kind, and I am going to embrace that. And you know, honestly, there's going to be people who are similar to you, and you just gotta find your tribe, you know? Just gotta, it might take a while. I'm still trying to find my tribe, but I did meet a really nice girl, and who's like pretty similar to me. We have like a lot in common. She's super nice, and you know, she might be my tribe. She low-key might be my tribe. And so it might take you a while to find your tribe, but when you do, it'll be so nice, and you'll feel less alone. You'll be able to be your authentic self and like not feel like you're going to be judged, and that's just beautiful. So no matter how long it may take to find your tribe, just have hope that you will find it eventually. And so this is what I have so far, and as you can see, I just start with like shapes, like general shapes, and kind of just build from there. So like for this, I literally just made a square with slanted lines because it's kind of tilted a little bit. So it kind of, that's what creates those tilted lines. And then I just build from there. So yeah, and still life is such a great way to get started in art, because you're literally just drawing what you see. Whatever you see, that's what you draw. And so just drawing what you see and doing general shapes first. So like if it's like for one of the pots, draw a circle, then draw the lines coming from that bottom circle, draw the top circle, make adjustments if needed, and then, you know, you're already like practically done with the rough sketch. And then you kind of just keep playing around with that sketch, and then eventually it will become like a finalized sketch where it's, you know, you get darker lines because they're more, because like when you do a rough sketch, because I don't know how beginner of you guys are, who may be watching, so I don't want to like say terms that you may not be familiar with. So a rough sketch is very loose. It was that like first picture that I showed you guys where it's very loose lines, a lot of because you're kind of just testing the waters, so to speak. You're kind of just finding out where should this line be. And then once you kind of build from there, you'll kind of see your sketch coming along and looking more and more like what you see on the in front of you. And then you can start erasing the lines that aren't correct and kind of get more and more direct with your lines. And as you do that, your lines will get darker and darker because it's like this is the correct line, so to speak. And that will be, so like when it goes from really loose lines to more refined and singular lines, that's how you know you've gone from your rough sketch to your finalized sketch. And yeah, so after your finalized sketch, then you can just do the fun part, which is like coloring it in or doing any kind of medium that you want: oil, acrylic, oil pastel, soft pastel, charcoal, color pencils, crayons, yeah, watercolor, oil, not oil, ink, honestly, ink would be super fun to do with this. Hey, if any of you are watching and you comment down saying which one you want me to do from that list, let me know, and by commenting on this post, and I may do it in the next one if I see a comment. So yeah, but I think ink would be really fun. Ink or watercolor. Ink and watercolor I think would be really fun with this composition. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think I should do for the medium of this composition. And I think I'm going to end it here. Okay, so I think I'm going to finish the rest of this composition, and then next time I see you, we can do the medium. This was super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you maybe learned a few tricks. So if you want to get into art, you know, you can start with a good grasp, a good footing, so to speak, on the concept of how to draw. So yeah, with that said, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And, you know, just keep your head up and don't really listen to what others say that isn't helpful.